Alright, most everything you want to know about inferring points in SketchUp. First, each axis direction can be inferred when the rubber band line matches its color and tells you on axis. There are three basic inferences for an edge: red for on edge, cyan for midpoint, and green for endpoint. Hovering over the point with the cursor without clicking focuses attention on that point or direction. Moving away reflects the nature of the inference with a dotted rubber band display. A colored dotted rubber band inference shows an axis direction inference. Here, blue is warning me that I'm actually above the endpoint. The edge being drawn is a solid rubber band. Black means an arbitrary direction. Magenta means either perpendicular or parallel. Hover over an edge to invoke parallel or perpendicular. Holding down Shift while inferring locks that direction or inference. Now I can move the cursor over endpoints and edges to combine inferences, like from point, or extend an intersection with an edge. Let's look at these in action on a roof. The blue dot shows I'm on a surface. The blue rubber band means following the blue axis direction. Cyan dot means at the midpoint, then blue dotted rubber band moving directly above that point. Now hover over separate endpoints to invoke intersection inference. All out in free 3D space. SketchUp can draw an edge exactly to a surface. It tells you on face. On that same dormer example, draw back in the green direction exactly to the inclined roof slope. Locking the green direction with Shift allows me to just touch anywhere on the sloped surface. Push-pull uses inferring all the time, automatically. Just drag on the surface and let up when over the inferred point. A black dotted rubber band inference shows a from point or arbitrary direction or location. The implications for roof form is pretty evident here. The Move tool uses inferring heavily too. Here I shift to lock in an axis direction and combine with other points with a click. Again, a roof example shows this in action. Notice the inference description in the cursor messages. But the pencil tool is my favorite for inference locking, using Shift. You're able to literally build the edge points out in free 3D space. Here I will complete a complex curved miter by inline inferring. Start the edge, then hover over the line and lock the line direction with the Shift key. Touch the other fillet line to infer inline intersection. Watch one more time. Touch the edge, start the line, hover over the line, lock the direction, touch the opposite line. Voila, you have the intersection. Extending a surface is easy. First, start the edge, then hover over the surface to extend till it says on face and hold down Shift to lock the inference to that surface. Now any point I touch will lie on that plane. Now for something completely different. I can draw in plane with a surface by inferring the surface first. Once again, hold down Shift to lock onto the plane. Now touching on the vertical edges finds the intersection of those edges with the inferred plane. I'm holding down Shift continuously to keep from having to go back and infer the plane each time. Erasing the edges shows the new coplanar surface. Let's extend a roof surface in a real model. Start the edge. Notice as I move out to find the on-face inference, other inferences get in the way. I must keep moving the mouse until the blue dot and on-face are unambiguous. Then hold Shift. Notice the different inference combinations while moving the mouse. When I touch the ridge line, it infers the line direction back to the plane. Let's try extending a higher roof to a lower one. Start on the line and infer its own direction. Hold down Shift. Now touch on the surface to extend the edge to. We'll orbit a bit to see it happen more clearly. See how the near plane extends the edge further than the far plane? The edge now stops where it would touch an extension of the far plane. By locking the inference on the side slope and touching the lower ridge, I can connect the upper ridge and the lower ridge where they intersect on the side slope plane. Drawing the valley line completes the roof plane. Let's do it again on the opposite roof slope, drawing the valley line first this time. Start the edge, infer the plane and lock with Shift. Touch the intersecting ridge line. Connect the ridge lines. A little cleanup shows us the finished roof. How do we use inferring with edges which are not aligned with an axis direction? See how moving the vertex along the inference directions causes the objects to go out of square? One quick solution is to right, or context click, on a surface and select Align Axis. Now axis direction inference movement will be correct. Let's look at another way to deal with this. First, I will context, or right-click, and reset the axes. This method uses the tape measure tool. Clicking the tape measure tool on endpoints provides a measurement value down in the lower right value control box, or VCB. Clicking 2 points interior to an edge creates a construction line that can be inferred to like any other edge. Holding down Shift locks this direction as well. Here I can extend the endpoint along the direction to where it would lie on the plane of the triangle. Why would I want to do that, you ask? Well, let's rotate this house and find out. I want to take this gable and lean it back along a slope, but notice it will create a really weird roof line. I'll take the tape measure. Let's set it to hidden line mode so you can see the construction line easily. Now I can start the move and lock to that inferred direction using Shift. Touch on the surface to move that endpoint too. A little cleanup and voila, fixed roof. You can also drag off parallel construction lines with the tape measure tool. Remember to start interior to the edge. Let's undo. Now I'll drag off a parallel sloping line, but instead of staying on axis, I will touch on the endpoint where I want it anchored. Now I can draw an edge from the midpoint and lock in the blue direction until I hit the construction line. This large triangle now has the identical slope to the small one. Undo again. Let's draw a matching sloped roof on the awkward shaped blue form. First, drag off a sloping construction line to the back corner. These profiles will now be parallel and match. Once the end triangle is in place, draw in the ridge. Start the line, then hover over the top of the box to go parallel and lock with Shift. Touch the opposite end of the building for the ridge length. Draw in the other end, and the roof is completed. Let's use the tape measure trick on a small roof form. Let's slope the end to a hipped gable. Drag the valley line to the gable eave end. Now move the ridge point back. The biggest key to success with SketchUp is liberal application of inferring.